Next guest is a mathematician and aeronautical engineer who worked at NASA for 2 decades as a human computer and notably researching supersonic flight and sonic booms. Her story is featured in Margot Shetterly's book Hidden Figures, the story of the African-American women who helped win the space race. And along with Margot Shetterly is one of the Grand Marshals for the 2017 Dominion Energy Christmas Parade here in Richmond on Saturday, December 2nd. We welcome Dr. Christine Darden here to Virginia this morning. Good morning to you. It is an honor to have you here with us today.
Thank you. Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
Well, when you found out about this book, Hidden Figures, what did you think that this story was finally going to come out after all these years?
Well, I was actually surprised that a lot of people in Virginia said, well, we didn't realize that the story wasn't out. And I've been told that the work that I did later in my career was known among people who did the same kind of work, but there are lots of people who did not know about it.
So does the book really tell the true story of what happened when you were working at NASA?
Yes, it does. It's very factual in its writing, and Margot did a lot of research and everything to make sure she had the right facts in there.
Kind of tell us a little bit about your experience working at NASA. What year did you start there?
I started in 1967, so I went 2 years before they walked on the moon. So they were far along into the Apollo program when I got there. And I was hired as a human computer, which meant that we supported the engineers and did calculations for them for equations they were working on or plots that they were working on and things like that.
You were in the STEM field before STEM field even became something that we talked about.
Pretty much, but you know, when Sputnik went up, when I was a senior in high school, the country was pretty hepped up about making kids take math and science then too.
What got you interested in the math and science fields?
Well, I think that was part of it. I was a senior when that went up, and our whole senior yearbook was had a space theme because of the Sputnik going up that year. And then I had thought about biological science, but then I really I discovered that I really liked the physical sciences and the mathematics better than the biological sciences, and that sent me off in a different direction.
You were supporting the space race and the space program. Any thought ever of becoming an astronaut yourself?
I applied twice, and I wasn't accepted. I understand I went a little further the second time, but then I realized I was getting too old to keep applying.
What's it like now knowing that you're such a role model, both for girls, women, and men and boys, as far as what you've done and what you've accomplished in the science fields?
Well, certainly there's a great feeling, and when you have inspired someone else to move into an area, I think that you say, well, it's worth the talking with them and interfacing with them. When I retired 10 years ago, there were 2 ladies at my retirement party who said that they had switched fields to engineering because they saw I had did it, or I spoke at their high school, and they were inspired and came to NASA to work as engineers.
Now, your story is featured in the book Hidden Figures, not in the movie though, but what did you think when you saw the movie?
I thought it was a great movie. And in fact, the first time I watched the movie, I watched it just as a movie, and I thought it was wonderful. And I have not heard anyone say they didn't think it was a great movie.
Yeah, and the story is just amazing that it took so long to come out, because we think about the space race, I think, in the 60s, we think about the astronauts and their story, but we don't think about all the people that it took to actually get them into outer space. In your life, looking back, what's the most important thing? You worked on supersonic travel. That's what you're known for. Tell us about that.
Well, supersonic, of course, means traveling faster than the speed of sound. And the airplane, the first supersonic flight was in 1947. And they discovered then that there was this sonic boom that accompanied supersonic flight, which is a noise. And when I explain it to students, I say it's like a balloon in a room. You've got a pressure on your ear right now. If I blow up a balloon, the pressure in the balloon is higher. And if I pop it, a shock wave traveling at the speed of sound goes out in all directions. And when it hits your ear, you hear the pop. And the sonic boom is pretty much the same thing, that there's a cone around the airplane that's going faster than the speed of sound. And the pressure is higher inside that cone because of the shocks and the molecules getting pushed out of the way and everything, because everything in there is traveling at the speed of sound, and the airplane's going faster than the speed of sound. So when you're on the ground, this cone goes all the way to the ground, and you're in normal pressure at one instant, and as this cone drags across you, you're in high pressure, and that's the sonic boom you hear.
Oh, I can remember hearing those. There's so much things to learn about science, and you're such an inspiration to everyone as far as getting this back into the forefront. We thank you for all that you did and all that you continue to do.
Well, thank you very much.
And we're so happy that you're going to be here with us for the parade.
Well, I'm excited about that. I'm sure that's going to be wonderful. I always enjoyed parades.
Have you been a Grand Marshal before?
No, I have never been a Grand Marshal, but I've been to lots of parades.
Going to have to start practicing that way.
I will do that.
Dr. Christine Darden and Hidden Figures author Margulies Shetterly are the Grand Marshals of the 34th Annual Dominion Energy Christmas Parade. Join us live along Broad Street in Richmond on Saturday, December 2nd for the parade. It will go from DMV east to 7th Street, or you can watch live from 10 a.m. to noon right here on CBS 6. The parade will also stream live on WTVR.com. You don't want to miss the fun, and you don't want to miss Dr. Christine Darden.